Maybe you should go and do some contemplating.
Right reasons, right reasons. Being pretty girl for all the right reasons. Right reasons, right reasons. Being pretty girl for all 4 reasons.
I'm the Bachelorette, and I'm rapping to you poolside. Here to find true love, one man from
Hi, this is Rachel McElroy.
The greatest love of all.
Don't make me harmonize.
It did happen to us. Welcome. I'm Griffin McElroy.
This is Rose Buddies.
It's a podcast about The Bachelor, usually. Sometimes it's about Terrace House. Sometimes we only want it to be about Terrace House. Sometimes we have so much love and so much just erudite shit to say about the Japanese reality Netflix original television show Terrace House that it's all we want to talk about. Even though the specter of a new season of Bachelor is looming, couldn't be less interested. Just want to talk about those the 6 good folks. Oh God, I've spoken too loud and I've awoken the child.
No, he's okay.
He's good.
He would like you to keep it down.
No, I'm projecting to the back of the auditorium because there's people back there and they paid good tickets for this podcast. And my grandpa's back there and he has an ear problem, and it's important that I project. This is not an episode where we're going to talk about a TV show. Here's the situation. We have a 17-day-old baby. His name's Henry.
You always know how many days. I feel like you're really counting.
It's every one of them is a treasure. Just kidding. Every one of them has lasted, it seemed like about 3.5 minutes. I can't fucking believe how long he's been here already. It's kind of buck wild. We didn't really have a TV show to watch.
No, so we have been watching television.
Do you guys want us to talk about The Office? Do you want us to talk about Top Chef? Maybe. The answer to those might be yes.
It probably is yes, but I am a stickler for what we have come here to do, which is talk about love.
We went on a walk today and we briefly talked about discussing having an early holiday special where we discussed Love Actually and our favorite storylines and our least favorite storylines. There's about 4 storylines in that movie that can jog off, to use a British colloquialism.
Ooh.
We're not going to do that.
Continental.
A&TM, Boys Not in the House, I don't think. Starts back up tonight with Rita Ora
I
as
have
the
no
new
idea.
host.
I know some of our buddies are watching it
Is it
tonight.
a live watch? Yeah, that might have been fun, but we really needed to get this recorded today because it's actually kind of astonishingly a busy podcast week for yours truly, which sucks.
Yeah, Griffin is on paternity leave, but really only in theory.
Yeah. So this episode, a lot of folks have asked us to do something like this, and
it makes Griffin wildly uncomfortable.
It does a little bit, just because I think it's super masturbatory, but
yeah, we should some disclaimers. We're
gonna talk. Rachel and I are gonna talk about our relationship. Maybe that'll be good. It'll be like an about the author page, because this podcast is gonna go on forever, and so it'll be like an about the author's page.
I think so. Here's how I want to couch it. I don't want to couch it as we know everything about love and we're going to tell you about our love because it's going to be very useful to you as a person.
No.
What we're saying is we do a podcast where we talk about other people's love. So maybe it would be useful for you to know where we're coming from.
What our perspective is. Maybe. I think there's also just a lot of folks who just wanted to know like how we met and stuff. And I to be frank, it's so sweet. We get messages all the time like #relationship goals or whatever. And I I genuinely think it's very, very sweet, but I'm not a very public person about that stuff. So
No.
there's a bit of vulnerability here that I'm not entirely comfortable with, but I don't know. I think it'll be fun. I'm also worried that I won't remember everything, and that'll be kind of a bummer. You'll be like, oh, you remember this seminal, important, iconic moment. I'll be like, oh, oof, I don't know. I don't recall that.
I mean, so here's the thing. So I'm going to be probably pretty dry about it, just knowing me.
Sure.
And so I don't want you to feel any pressure to.
That's fair. If
remember how the moon looked.
If this, it was a harvest moon. If this makes you uncomfortable, it's not your thing. I totally get it. See you next week. We'll be back. Oh, next week. Let's go ahead and say this.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch the first season of The Bachelor.
Yeah.
The Bachelor or Bachelorette? Ooh.
It's Bachelor. It started as Bachelor.
But we could do Bachelorette.
Well, I don't know that that's available to
Okay,
us.
so The Bachelor, the first season of The Bachelor. It is on ABC.com.
Yes.
So you can go watch it there. I think it might also be on Amazon.
It's possible, yeah.
streaming.
And I anticipate we'll watch the whole season in a week, just knowing the amount of time we have on our hands.
But we want to talk about, before we get into this new season, and guys, there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff with this new season that we're very excited about.
Who is this character?
I don't know. I think it was... I don't know. I don't know who the character was.
Okay.
Before we get to that, I think we should take a look back. Look how far we've come. Look at where you started, to quote Hamilton, an American musical. You seen that? A lot of people are talking about this. Hamilton, an American musical.
You know, I enjoy it. I've heard that one Lin-Manuel Miranda is a fan of the show.
I did hear that, and that's always great to hear.
Our show.
Yeah, sure. It really boosts my spirits. Like, we're doing something important. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
All right, let's start our show.
We're doing something important that
Let's start
is
our
going
show
to be
now.
remembered long after we're gone.
Let's get going on the show.
Just like Hamilton will be.
Okay.
So...
Well, so let's get some
Can we play the How I
facts.
Met Your Mother theme song? It'll be like, boop, 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 and oh, babe, and we could do this whole episode to our new baby. He's sitting right in front of us, unconscious as fuck. And we can be like, listen, sweet child. Listen, sweet child. Do you know how it happened? The miracle of you.
Oh man, that would take a turn, I think.
Is
because
it taking a turn, my sweet, lovely
Are we
child?
talking about the nitty-gritty details as to how he was conceived?
Oh, we can get... Daddy, remember the day.
Okay, so let's start out with some facts and then see where we go.
I had like 4 Miller Lights, and
Nope. I want to go further back.
You want to go before the
the
act
actual
of creation of
Okay. This is going to be tough.
It is, isn't it?
Okay, so 2011.
Simpler times.
was
Simpler
living-
times.
Man. I might.
It was simpler times, though. I mean,
Okay.
it's been a rough year. 2011 was pretty fucking great.
I was living in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was friends with Justin Minsker.
So Justin is one of my oldest friends from Huntington, West Virginia, my hometown. I grew up doing theater with him and his whole family. And we lived together while we were in college in Huntington. We went to Marshall and lived together there. And then he graduated, I think, a year before me and left to sow his wild oats in... That's a gross way of saying that. But he left to come here to Austin, which I didn't know about. Never thought I'd live in Texas.
Yeah, me neither.
And the reason why is because it's fucking Texas.
And so he did AmeriCorps at the same time I did AmeriCorps, and we became friends. And we have actually a big group of friends that all met through AmeriCorps.
That AmeriCorps unit is like,
Yeah.
that was, we're still buds with like pretty much all of them.
Yeah. So it was South by Southwest 2011.
Right. So I was living in Chicago at the time with my friends, with a couple of friends. And they were a couple, and it was great. It was one of my like favorite years ever. I love Chicago so much, and we had a really great place in Roscoe Village. But they were talking about getting their own place after our lease was up in July, and so I started kind of looking around. So I'd been working for AOL at a website called Joystick for a long time, and it meant I could work from home. And once I graduated from college, it basically meant I could live anywhere I want. So I looked around at some different places. I moved to Batavia, Ohio, just outside of Cincinnati with Travis when I graduated Marshall in 2009. We lived there for a year. It was kind of lame. I love Cincinnati. Batavia is not Cincinnati. It's like 45 minutes away, and so that kind of sucked. It was great living with Travis, though, obviously. And then I moved to Chicago from there. But I had like spent a lot of time driving around the country and go like testing out different cities to see where I wanted to go. And so I had sights on like Seattle, and I had sights on Boston. And that it didn't click because I came to Austin instead.
Yeah. So South by Southwest, for those that aren't familiar, has really grown huge even since I moved here in 2008.
It's fucking over. I'm sorry. I came at the peak year, and then it's over now.
It's like a week-long festival of movies and music and technology. And what I had done, and some of our friends had done, is you take a few days off during the week because the shows during the day are free. So Wednesday through Saturday, if you go downtown, you can walk into almost any bar and see free shows, which is what I was doing and Justin was doing and Justin's friend Griffin was doing when he came to town.
I came to town at Justin's behest because he knew I was kind of shopping around for a new city. I really liked Chicago. 2011, though, was in 2010, the winter of 2010 into 2011 was the snowpocalypse or whatever it was called. It was a famously shitty, snowstorm that lasted. There was 2 feet of snow on the ground on my fucking birthday, which is in April.
Yeah.
So, and working from home, I didn't get a chance to, get out and meet a whole bunch of folks. And so, I was cloistered essentially for 5 months out of the year. And as much as I love Chicago, that was just not the life for me. And so I kind of wanted to get out. And so I came to the opposite. There's actually, and what's interesting is, since I've moved here, there's actually there was, I don't know if it's still in operation, but a pipeline carrying 20-somethings directly from Chicago to Austin.
Well, you can say that with a lot of major cities.
I guess that's true.
People are moving to Austin daily in huge packs.
So I flew down here to stay with Justin and his girlfriend, now wife, Bristol. I think we were staying at their
Justin and Bristol weren't living together
No,
yet.
they weren't, but I was staying at the what was called the compound, which was Bristol's Bristol's
her mom
and stepdad's place
Yeah.
out in the country.
Yeah.
And it was really great. It was a really wonderful trip. I had so this is first Easter egg fun fact. I had super bad diarrhea. You remember that? I flew in and it was the sickest I've ever been, and it hit me as soon as the wheels left the ground. And I was blown away. Do you know if you get sick on a plane, you go to the flight attendants and you're like, "Hey, I'm sick. Can I get medicine?" They're like, "No, they don't have medicine. They just don't have it."
Yeah, that's surprising to me. Even over-the-counter stuff.
I was like, "Can Papa get Imodium, please?"
I've asked a flight attendant for a pen before, and they looked at me like, "What?
What are you talking about?
Why would we have a pen?"
I have a theory that every airplane, they put just enough fuel in it. They weigh the airplane right before it takes off, and they put just enough fuel in it so one tablet of Imodium would throw off the trajectory of the entire thing. Anyway, really bad die. And I did the day that we met. The moment we met, my guts were just racked with plague.
Another Easter egg.
Oh, fun.
Not having to do with digestive issues. So Justin, big hype man for Griffin, didn't have any intention of setting us up, but did connect me to Griffin's podcast before I met him.
So that's weird. You knew stuff about
So I had
me.
listened to maybe half a dozen episodes. So I knew who Griffin was and kind of, that he had this show with his brothers and that he was funny and very willing to talk about things like his diarrhea.
It's important to know. It's if the in the last season of How I Met Your Mother, when he meets the mother, if he had really bad diarrhea, and that would be a major plot point of that episode. And so to leave it out would be disingenuous. Our followers need to know. They need to know. Anyway, I landed, and pretty much right after, I dropped off my bags, and then Justin and Bristol and I went down to the city and walked around to a couple places. We were on the east side of Austin, which is very, very hip spot to be. There's a lot of fancy cocktail bars and dive bars and food trucks, and it's the cool part of downtown. And so we went to a couple places, and then we ended up at Liberty Bar, right?
Yeah.
Liberty Bar.
Do you remember the name? You've always remembered the name of the band that
I'm
was
pretty
playing.
sure it was Sandra Leche.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Who I don't know super well, but I listened to a little. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's who it was. I don't know why that stuck in my head. It could be completely untrue, but anyway, yeah. And so you were there, I guess, with some other friends.
I was there with my friend Ashley, I think.
Oh yeah.
And I had been downtown all day, and had a purse full of swag, from the various events that I had been to. So other thing about South by Southwest, part of the reason all the showcases are free during the day is they're usually sponsored, which means you can get koozies and you can get handkerchiefs and flash drives and any number of t-shirts of things that are sponsored.
What if you'd handed me a flash drive? Hey, it's got 2 gigabytes. Want a kiss?
But I met Griffin.
Here's a tin of snus. I got it from the snus truck. Want to smooch me? That's real. There was a snus truck. We all did snus and got really addicted to snus for like 2 years.
I have
It was rough.
I have never done snus.
It's great. It's like snuff, but like it comes in a little ketchup packet, I guess. I don't know. I've never done snus
So
either.
gross. And yeah, so I met Griffin, and Griffin was squinting, as I recall. It was
As I was wont to do.
sunny day in Texas, and I had 2 pairs of sunglasses that
They were Mike's Hard Punch sunglasses.
Yes.
I remember that.
One pair was orange and one pair was red. And so I had just met Griffin, and I said, "Do you want one of these pairs of sunglasses?" And he picked the orange pair. And I said, "Well, red's traditionally a little more rock and roll." And Griffin was like, That's not really my speed."
I know who I am. This is an important totem in mine and Rachel's relationship. I have lost the sunglasses.
Yeah, he does not have them anymore. But he wore them the whole time he was here.
I did, yes. Partially because of love, but also because it's very bright. And
It's very bright.
A couple of things you need to know. I had been single for a super long time.
Like over 2 years, right? Isn't that what you told me?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you'd been on dates.
I'd
but-
been on dates, but like I hadn't had like a girlfriend for a while. And you had a boyfriend for a long time, but you had been single for
Gosh, let me think. So only for like 4 or 5 months.
hell yeah. The other thing you need to know is I had just the grossest beard. It
Yeah.
was so bad.
Griffin looked like a man that had been single for a long time. He had an unfortunate haircut, as I recall. He was a little shaggy.
No, I didn't have a super unfortunate haircut.
It was pretty shaggy.
Okay. Well,
Pretty shaggy.
Well, guess what? You had dumb ears.
Well, I still do.
No, I love ears. Come on.
He had a scraggly beard. He was wearing clothes
That looked super fucking cool. I bought out of the Cool Clothes catalog. I got them from Expressmen.
that did not suggest this is a man who's single and ready to mingle. And
Wow, I'm really taking a fucking beating right now.
well, all of this to say,
It's a miracle you ended up with me.
No.
Yeah, no, I agree. Absolutely. What other bad things were there about me?
no, I'm saying that Griffin was not putting off when we met, he did not put off a vibe of like,
And for a very long time, I did not put off this
I
vibe.
am after you, Miss Rachel.
But I was super into you, and that can be backed up by our friends Justin and Bristol, because like when we went home to the place I was staying at, we like stayed up for a super long time, and I was like, "So you think Rachel's going to be around at the stuff tomorrow?"
Yeah. So I had no idea that Griffin was interested, probably until the last day that he was in town. But I did spend a lot more time with our friends during that week. It seemed like every day I was getting a text from Justin or Bristol.
I think they were definitely pulling some strings.
I think Bristol maybe. Justin was not shipping us super hard.
Yeah. So yeah, then we just sort of kept hanging out. Like we would go to a bunch of different shows.
every
We went to
day.
Adam Duritz had a I forget what it was called. It was called like something and smoke. It was like his label that he was putting together. Adam Duritz is the dude from Counting Crows. And he put together, it was just
wait, no, I remember what it was called. It was called the Counting Crows Super Shows. It was called.
Oh, baby, I don't think that was it.
It was called Crotally Awesome.
That was what it was. It was incredibly awesome. It was great. That's what I'm talking about. Like South by Southwest is so commercial now, and they don't do stuff like this where you just roll up and like we saw like a dozen shows and ate free fried chicken and drank free beers. Thanks, Adam Duritz. You're a good dude.
Yeah.
Now South by Southwest, it's just over. It's so commercial.
Some people would argue that it was commercial in 2011.
Oh, somebody might also argue that I put up a panel for the panel picker for South by Southwest 2017 and was denied, and so maybe I'm a little bit salty.
bitter.
So yeah, we just kept hanging out and going
Yeah,
to shows
I don't
together.
remember a lot of specific conversations. The first time I remember really talking to you was the night we were at Opal Divines.
Yeah, so the last day I was in town. You remember?
No, this was the second to last day.
Oh, was it? Well, it was
The last day was East Side Showroom.
right. Yes. So but that was the day that we met up with Jordan Morris because we did I don't know if he knows this story, but we went to, and I think it was just me and you and maybe,
Justin.
We went to the El Casino Camino. Is that right? Camino Casino, something like that.
Something like
it's
that,
Some
on
bar.
6th
It's
Street.
some bar on
Yeah.
6th Street. I've been to 6th Street bars like 3 times in my whole life since I've been here. But we did a little Max Fun meetup with me and Jordan from Jordan Jesse Go, and you came along, and it was super fun.
Yeah, it was a real power play. I know Griffin wasn't intending this.
It was not that. In fact, I was like really actually. I dug you a lot, and I was kind of uncomfortable with like check out my following.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, this was early. This was 2011, so it wasn't like it was packed with fans.
No.
But it was definitely like, hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. Here are all my fans.
So call me baby. So yeah, we did that. We went out to like dinner with a bunch of people, and I tried to flirt. I suck at it.
Yeah, so Opal Divines, we went, it was just Justin and Bristol and me and Griffin that were there.
A little double date.
And that's when Griffin came back to my house very briefly.
Oh yeah, to pee.
Yeah.
We dropped you off at your house. It was a nice house. Was that when you were living on 43rd? 43rd, and I popped in there. I was like, let me just get in there to piss. And I did. And you had we still have it. It's in the living room. You had a Mondo Pee-wee's Playhouse, or Pee-wee's Big Adventure poster. I was like, cool poster.
Yeah, so the joke that Griffin doesn't remember making.
Oh, I remember it.
Oh, he asked if he could use my bathroom, and I said, yeah, I mean, if you're okay in there, or something like that. I don't know.
Something crass.
And then, so he used my bathroom and then came out and he's like, I think you're really going to like what I did in there.
That's pretty good. Pretty
That's
bold.
pretty good.
Pretty sexy, maybe?
Yeah, right.
Maybe even a little bit sexy and playful.
And then the last night you were in town.
Yeah,
that was when I thought,
my least smooth moment.
that's when I thought Griffin might be into me.
We went to East Side Showroom, which was, is it closed? They're
I
closing.
think it is
aren't they?
closed
that
now.
Sucks.
I know, it's real sad.
It was like the quintessential like hipster.
Yeah, it has like
cocktail
a
place.
speakeasy kind of vibe.
All the cocktails are like $15. And they're good, but come on. But we went there and we went with a big group of people. We went with our friend Eric, who had a couple of friends in from out of town. There were like, I don't know, like 10 people there. And we were sat at this huge table, which is a pretty small bar. So it's weird that we had this huge table. And Rachel and I were sitting like 3 people away from each other. And I kept trying to have conversations with her.
At one point, apropos of nothing, Griffin turned to me. And this seemed remarkable because Griffin is not... He's not like a chatty guy, really, with like people.
I am in a group of friends where if I know everybody at the
Yeah.
table, I'll fucking talk too much.
But not like a, hey, this is the first time we've met, I want to know all about you kind of guy.
Sure.
So he turned to me and he said, so what do you do? And I just remember thinking like, wow, well, I've never seen him ask anybody else this question. And it seems like not really a germane topic.
Yeah, sure.
I know that doesn't sound like a super strong pickup line, but it felt like something.
I mean, I've been playing you hot and cold for like 3 straight days, and that was the prestige. So yeah, we talked a little bit more that night, and then I flew home to Chicago, and this was in March. And so I had basically decided like day one that I wanted to move here because I love Austin so very, very, very much. But this was the first time that I'd like really been into somebody in a super long time. And so it kind of like sealed the deal. And so like I decided and I told Justin like I want to move to Austin, and he was like, you can live with me. Because his lease, I think, was also getting renewed at the same time that mine was up.
Yeah,
in
like
Chicago.
summertime.
And so I went back home. Yeah, this would have been mid-March because the first time I reached out to you was on your birthday, which was March 29th. And I like left you some stupid Facebook comment on your
Wrote on my
wall.
Facebook wall, guys.
It was dumb. I don't remember. But I do remember like thinking about posting that comment for a long time because I was like, she doesn't know me super well. And so it's weird for me to leave a happy birthday message. I deliberated for a super, super long time. But this is such a good payoff. And it is the most like digital age dating shit ever, in that like I sat there and I agonized over sending you this happy birthday wall post on your Facebook wall, and then I published it, and then like 6 minutes later I heard a little ping and you had sent me a little Facebook chat, and we Facebook chatted for like 3 minutes. I don't even think Facebook chat still exists, like the little pop-up chat thing that we use that doesn't exist anymore.
It was my birthday, and I had just been out for drinks with Justin and like all the people we had hung out with.
Yeah.
And so I just started chatting.
It was very benign. I forget what we talked about. I think we talked about Chicago hot dogs and
somehow
stuff.
we ended up getting on the topic of quizzes or something. Somehow we started talking about like
What was that website?
online quizzes.
Do you remember the website?
Are you talking about Sporkle?
Sporkle, yeah, we sent a lot of that. So this kicked off a digital correspondence between Rachel and I that is, I'm really grateful for it. Obviously, because like we ended up together, but also because like we have
an archive.
Like of like I don't know, 100 and some odd emails probably.
Yeah, so we started emailing in March, and we emailed pretty much every week, sometimes twice a week, until he moved here in July.
Pretty long. Like I would spend nights like working on these, you know, like two page long emails, and
and we would ask each other questions.
Yeah, so like, how did you know? What did you how was your college experience? So like, what was that like?
Well, or like if you were going to have 5 dinner party guests and you could have anybody,
that was a good one.
Who would it be? Or
no questions like what that dick do though.
No,
nothing like I can't. That's important.
Flirtation.
No overt flirtation whatsoever. Just like, and that's in a way like you say like you couldn't tell whether or not I was into you even during this correspondence. And like, if I'm asking you like what it was like growing up in St. Louis and like what your childhood was like, hey dog, hey buddy, guess what? Like,
I had never had a guy be interested in me that wasn't overtly flirtatious.
Yeah, that's how I come at it.
So I just kept second guessing whether or not you were interested.
It's kind of astonishing that this worked, right? Because like there's another universe in which like I don't know, like I'm a creepy dude, and it wasn't like I was sending you email after email like, hey, you up, but like I think there's another universe in which like, you know, you move too fast and you ask these big questions, and one of the people gets spooked and sort of runs away. And I also think like, I don't know, I get really nervous about sensitive digital correspondence of any sort, and this was like really, really sensitive stuff, but it was really sweet. Like the emails were so sweet. Like I love that I can just like go back and read them.
Yeah. It's really nice. I am a big fan of the written correspondence. Griffin and I will still send each other emails occasionally when we're traveling.
Yeah.
That are just nice to have.
And I think it only worked because we had met each other and hung out for a few days, and it wasn't like I was like cold calling you or something like that.
Yeah, and I feel like in that we got to know things about each other that like other people just never got to know about us.
Right.
Which was great.
So in July, I moved down. Justin actually flew up to Chicago, and then we threw everything I owned in my Toyota Matrix, and then drove down to Austin, and then like, and
Griffin and I exchanged phone numbers, and that was my doing.
Yeah, that was a big play. Rachel, I mean, from this point on, Rachel makes all of the forward momentum until I... no, that's not true, because you got pretty spooked also sometimes.
I did, yeah. I was super freaked out, but I felt like I was not quick to rush into anything with Griffin, but I knew that I liked being around him and I liked talking to him a lot.
Yeah. Well, because the boyfriend that you had before that was like almost a decade. Like it was a long relationship, and so like I wasn't
looking for anything serious, and I knew Griffin was like a serious guy, and so I was nervous about that. Yeah. But I also knew that we had just been emailing for a long time, and if we were going to get together, I wanted to get to that pretty quick.
Yeah, sure. And so I moved down here, and then I think you came over like the first night.
You texted me right away when you got in town, because Bristol and I had lleft a bunch of surprises for you and Justin.
Oh, yeah.
In the house. So
I think one was a poster for the movie Ping Pong Playa.
Yeah. And the Sweet Valley High
board game.
And the Chicago Bears vinyl of the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Fuck, I wish I'd hung on to that. I don't know where that ended up. I bet Justin probably has it.
I think Justin has it.
And that first night, we ended up texting like a lot that night, because Justin had a roommate back then who hadn't managed to get all of his stuff out yet. And so he was in the room that I was supposed to stay in. And so I slept in Justin's room. And like, I remember texting you about that.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. That made me like kind of have a crush on you, because you texted me that Steve was in your bed. Mm-hmm. And I said, you're never going to believe this, but Steve is also in my bed. And then you said, Stephen Hawking has a theory that all beds contain
a little bit of Steve. Steve's a great dude. It wasn't, it was a complicated situation. And then, we started dating really quick.
Yeah. So Griffin and I pretty much saw each other or talked every day that he was in town.
The first move I remember making is we wanted to play that Sweet Valley High board game.
Yeah.
And so Grace, our friend Grace, was over at your house and was like, hey, let's come over and play Sweet Valley High, and so this is the most perfect encapsulation of how clueless I was about anything. In that I showed up to the house with because I didn't want to be rude. I wanted to bring something, so I brought some beer,
like a 12.
I brought like a 16, 18 pack of Shiner Bock, like enough for each of us to have 6.
I was like, "What? We're just playing a board game." And it was like 6:00 in the evening or something.
Yeah, it was not party
on a
time.
weekday.
I didn't know. So I get there with 100 beers and the Sweet Valley High board game, and Grace, who is the best, she says, "I'm gonna go," and just leaves.
Yeah.
And so we ended up hanging out. And I remember,
and then I went back to your house and played Scrabble with you.
We played Scrabble for a while.
Yeah.
And then we no, just kidding. Come on. Not yet. We have a baby. Like, come on. They know.
So Griffin and I kept in contact, and I had been talking to my friends at this point and said, there's this guy we've been emailing. I think I like him, but I'm not sure if we have like real romantic chemistry. And my friend Courtney actually was the one. She's the one that lived in Paris that I visited.
Yeah.
She's like, you need to just kiss him.
Yeah.
Like, you need to kiss him and then you'll know.
So we did. We had one night. We went to a bar on E6, right? Cheer Up Charlie's. That was like the most fun dance place. Well, Barbarella's the most fun dance place, but the second most fun dance place in Austin. And we went, and I remember having a super good night.
We also went back to your place and we played Dance Central.
We did, didn't we? We did a lot of dancing that night. Did we hold hands at Cheer Up Charlie's? I think we might have.
You have a memory of that happening. Oh,
sorry. And then I guess it was only special for one of us.
See, this is what you
I
were
can't believe
afraid
Henry
of.
has to be in the room while we do this now. So yeah, we ended up going back to my place, and I think we were watching Friday Night Lights, right? That was a very similar.
Yeah, so let me give you the timeline here. So we were playing Dance Central, and I noticed I had decided that night that we were going to kiss. This is how my brain works. I was like, we are going to kiss tonight, and then we'll figure it out. And so we'd had some drinks, and I noticed that every time Griffin would like get up, he would like come back and sit directly next to me. And so I felt pretty good about signals. And then everybody left, and it was just Justin and Bristol and me and Griffin watching Friday Night Lights. And
which, by the way, during our convalescence, that's not the right word. During our paternity maternity leave, we fucking powered through basically the whole series again. Except we skipped the second season. Go watch that show. It's fucking great. Even if you think it's not going to be your kettle of fish. That's not how that colloquialism works either. It's so good. Just skip season 2 entirely, and you're going to be aces. But yeah, we were watching that show. Continue with the scene. It's about to get pretty steamy in here, folks.
So at their place, there was a couch and a chair, and it was kind of a big chair. But so Justin and Bristol took the couch, and Griffin and I shared this big chair. Mm-hmm. And this is the first sign that Griffin really gave me for sure that he was interested. And that he put his arm around me.
Oh, so fucking
And he
smooth.
kind of like rubbed my arm with his hand.
Hell yeah, dude. Are you kidding me? So smooth. I remember everything being like all you, and me being like a quivering little
It was really smart that you were like that, though. Like, I make fun of you, but again, I was out of an almost 10-year relationship.
Yeah.
And recently single.
Yeah.
So anything else would have spooked me. I really liked feeling like I was kind of in control in a way.
So yeah, Justin and Bristol went to bed, and then we smooched. I don't want to get. This is making me very nervous.
So Griffin and I were sitting next to each other, and
You're gonna go so deep into this.
I'm not gonna go so deep. I'm just gonna say that Griffin like kind of leaned his head against me, and I was like, well, we can't kiss if his head is on me. So I kissed his ear.
Yeah,
and
then
then
I was like,
that like activated Griffin.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, we can kiss now.
Yeah, that was. I said that. You've broken the curse.
And so we did some kissing.
Yeah, we did some kissing. It was good.
And then it was time for me to leave because I'm a lady. And then Griffin was like, well, maybe we can do this again sometime. And he didn't realize that I had consciously decided like we are going to kiss this evening, and then we are going to make a decision about our relationship. Mm-hmm. So he was like, maybe we do this again sometime. I thought that was really funny because I was like, I guess he thinks that I didn't make this This was a spontaneous decision.
Yeah, that I thought that this was at this point, like a 4-month-long slow play just to get one night of some kissing, and then that's how intimacy works. That's how romance works. You work for 4 months, and then you get kissed a little bit, and then that's it.
And then we were really serious right away. Like
basically going full steam ahead.
We saw each other pretty much every day, and yeah,
it was so good. Like
it was
still
really
is
good.
super good, but it's like the best. Like it was unlike any relationship I'd ever been in, and I'd been in like a few at that point, and it was the most like I think you're lucky to have a relationship like that at any point in your life where you're just like, this is how it is. And the other things were like good, but like this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, there were
like.
never any games. Like Griffin and I were always very honest with each other.
Yeah.
Like we never did the like, he called me, I'm going to wait 2 days and call him back.
Yeah.
Or we're going to date other people, and see how that goes. Or like,
Not that there's anything wrong with that. If that was your, again, like I don't want to be like, it's the only way to do it. I'm just saying like, for me, it was this.
It wasn't like hot and cold.
No, it was this moment of like realization of just like this is it. Like this has to be it because it's so unlike the other stuff. And so I lived with Justin for a year, and then we moved in together.
We moved in together
in 2012. Really cute house on the Christmas Light Street. In Austin, it's not. They don't really. There's this very, very small street in Austin,
kind of like the North University neighborhood.
Yeah, and every house on it used to do Christmas lights, and they would run Christmas lights from like house to house across the street, forming like this beautiful tunnel of lights. But then those houses are now worth like $600,000 for like a 900 square foot house.
It was a little 1-bedroom house.
Yeah. Now they're all rented out by UT students who aren't as festive and diligent because it's a lot of work.
It's really old. There's like one closet in the whole house.
So cute though.
It's very cute.
So we lived there for a year, and then I proposed to you there in 2012.
In 2012, yeah, and then we got married December 2013. So we pretty much knew what we wanted, and we moved quickly after that.
We did, yeah. We were like I think we were like the first of our, and we still have this big group of friends that were like our friends who helped hook us up, and our friends that did AmeriCorps with Rachel that are still like. We had Henry a little over 2 weeks ago, and our friends made dinner for us every night for the past 2 weeks, and it's like it's those friends. It's like still those friends.
But yeah, so
I think we were like the first of our friends to like get married because we were just like fucking powering through.
You say that. So there's another thing that I've kind of alluded to on the show, but I am older than Griffin, like 5 years older. So
what? It's my favorite.
It's good. It's really good. Like it's like a Chris Hansen to catch a predator
fun
moment.
Thing to do to you, to like just like how you feel when I say it.
So while we were the first of our friends here in Austin to get married, I was 31 when we got married, and most of my friends that I went to high school with were married and had a couple kids, actually.
Sure.
So in that sense, I was kind of a late bloomer, but I will say that, yeah, here in Austin, we really kicked it off.
Yeah.
Because most of our friends here are closer to Griffin's age, I think, than mine.
Trying to think of other stuff. Like, it was just like a really good... we bought our house a few months after we got married that we live in now, and where we have the baby.
Yeah, I think the thing about Griffin and probably all the McElroys that was unique for me is that Griffin and Travis and Justin, they're all very family focused, and all of them I think would say confidently that a goal for them has always been to get married and have kids.
Yeah, sure.
Like Griffin, when we started dating, never did any of that. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to settle down, and like, I'm kind of afraid of commitment. Like, if anything, I was more nervous in the beginning of our relationship because Griffin seemed so clear in what he wanted and how he felt about.
A lot of that's coming from like a place of I was very privileged, and I was very lucky to like I had the joystick job, which turned into the polygon job, and I had my brother and me, which even back then was doing really well, like one year in, and I knew that like we had kind of caught on to something that I loved doing, and so I found all of this fulfillment in like work and life and everything else, and so I was like. I was ready to go, and I was so lucky that all of those other stars aligned. Because like I wasn't hesitant really at all.
Yeah. And we've told some of our other stories.
Like when I didn't propose to you.
Like when you didn't propose to me in Mexico.
I don't want to talk too much about the proposal because again, it's very sensitive. But we
Yeah.
did it at our small, cute house. I set up some lights in the
Griffin,
backyard.
yeah,
and-
Griffin surprised me. I had been out of town for work, and I came home.
And you made me stop at Walgreens to get you your birth control pills. And I was sitting in the parking lot like, are you kidding me? Now.
And yeah, we don't fight really. We have a lot of the same interests. I think our temperaments are similar.
Yeah. The example I used to say, and this is sad, that I thought that this was like such an important like point for people to get along with in order to like stay super into each other, is we always wanted to leave parties at the exact same time. And it's like, sometimes it'd be late. Sometimes whenever I want to go to like 2 and want to just rage, you are there also. But like most of the time it's like 11 and I'm looking at the door and you're like, yeah. But there's never been an instance where it's like, oh babe, come on.
Yeah.
I'm having fun.
Yeah. No, we're pretty much always on the same page.
We've traveled
everything.
a lot, which has been super fun, both for like doing live shows for the podcast, which you get to come along.
When I
and, like,
met Griffin, he had never left the country.
That's true, yeah. And then I left a couple times for Polygon. I went to Germany and Tokyo. We took our honeymoon in Japan. We went to Tokyo, Hakone, and Kyoto, and like are obsessed with it, which we talked about during the Terrace House episode. We went to Hong Kong last year, which was really fun. Like that's my favorite thing to do with you, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing anywhere. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in Texas ever, let alone Hong Kong. And so like being there with you and sharing that terror with you is really really fun. And then we had a baby.
And we just had a baby.
We tried for a bit, and then it happened. We found out on Easter that we were having a baby. Rachel walked into the room with the pregnancy test, and I had just gotten an Oculus Rift Dev Kit 2, and so I had that on. I was playing some shitty game, and Rachel walked in, and she was like, "Babe," and I took off the headset. Was like, "Oh shit!" It was really great. It was like one of the best moments.
Yeah.
And then he got born. He got born Black Friday, which is cool.
And then December 7th, we just celebrated our 3-year wedding anniversary.
3-year wedding anniversary. Oh, our wedding was super fun. It was out in the country, basically like 30 minutes past the airport from Austin. If you know Austin, then you kind of, I think, know what it's
Cedar Creek,
near
Texas.
Bastrop. Yeah. And it was at the cutest little place. It was like a little sort of like farmhouse, country house.
Mason
jars as far as the eye can see.
Wood tables, the whole thing.
We loved planning the wedding and like had such a great time. One caveat: it was a mostly outdoor wedding, and what you have to understand is it's December right now. It's December 12th, and it was 60 degrees outside today.
Yeah.
That's the norm. It was like 17 degrees on our outdoor wedding day.
Yeah, there was freezing rain after our ceremony. And we invited over 150 people. Like 70 showed up.
It wasn't like everybody who showed up RSVP'd to show up. You're making it sound like people are like, the weather's too bad. I'm going to stay home.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, it was a very, very small, very chilly,
so we
intimate.
had a brisk, by both definitions of the word, ceremony, like outside. And then,
and Griffin's dad was our officiant.
Yeah, my dad officiated for us. And then we basically, luckily, our wedding planner, who was fucking amazing, was like the day before, like, why don't we get a big tent? And we were like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, with heaters.
And then she like filled it with heaters, and we basically just got in there, and everybody got drunk and just like danced to stay warm. There's also like a fireplace inside. It was the cutest place. There's a fireplace inside.
Yeah,
and
if anybody wants to get married,
Cedar Bend.
Yeah,
is what it was called.
In Austin or the Austin area, we have a very strong recommendation for you.
What was great is we had a fireplace inside, and people were going there for survival. And like people were meeting that otherwise would not have met because they were gathered around this like communal survival point.
Wasn't your boss Chris Grant?
Yeah, Chris Grant, my boss, was there with his partner Aaron, who was pregnant at the time. I felt so bad because it was like fucking cold.
And our wedding planner was also
planner was also pregnant. Yeah, so they were like, and like my nanny was there like around the fire. But like all of these people were meeting because they were like gathered around this fire, which I thought was like, obviously it wasn't ideal, and I wish that the weather had been a bit nicer during our wedding. But there was a lot of sweet stuff happening because of the cold. That's it. I feel like, man, I feel so uncomfortable still talking about this. It's fun to talk about like I don't know. It's nice. Wow, I can't believe we got 45 minutes out of this. That's a lot.
Yeah, I think I don't know how to
End it.
tie a little bow around that. But all that to say, so when we watch, let's
talk about when we started watching The Bachelor. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've mentioned this before. We started watching Ben's season.
Well, you
correct?
watched some before.
Yeah.
And you turned me onto this show, and it was when you were living at your old house on 43rd.
we were watching it on my laptop.
We were watching on your shitty, 1951 MacBook. And the fan was so loud we had to turn the volume up to max just so we could hear Ben spout his "Oh my dads." And you were like, "There's this show that I think you would enjoy," and I don't know why you thought I would enjoy it. I think you just really wanted to watch it.
No, I don't think I ever sold it. And in fact, I just made it sound more like this is a thing that I do. And you were welcome to do it with me.
You didn't own a TV then, so it's not like you were consuming that's what was so mysterious.
Griffin got
to
me a TV as a present.
I got you a TV for a Christmas present, and
as I don't know how you're doing this. You need this.
Yeah, because you also weren't one of those people that was just like television.
Yeah, I was watching everything on my computer.
Yeah,
I was just cheap.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, you were like, I think it was even pitched like, please watch this show with me. It's important to me, and let's see how it goes. And I was like,
I don't think I ever said it's important to me.
You said it's an important thing for me. I'm going to do a podcast about it.
There are three things, Griffin. There's family.
Yeah.
There's friendship.
Yeah.
And then there's the Bachelor, Bachelorette.
The 3 Fs. Yeah, so we watched it. The first season of Ben's season is such a good first season because, he's kind of a dude that I think I'd love to get along with. I'm so hesitant after The Bachelorette Canada. I don't know who listens and who doesn't. But that was a season with Courtney in it, and there was a lot of wild stuff.
I think Lindsay was the runner-up.
I don't remember anything except Courtney and Ben. And so I watched it and just fell in love with it. And
we didn't start doing drafting until
I think we did it the next season, which was Emily. No. It was after Emily. It was the next Bachelor after Emily. It would have been Juan Pablo.
Yeah, and that was just Justin and Bristol and me and you at that point.
I think it was just me and you for a year. Yeah.
We did it by ourselves?
By ourselves.
That doesn't seem right.
I think we did. But anyway, we it was like you'd just shown me this seductive new drug where you're like, check this thing out. I think you'd like it. And I was like, oh, not only do I like it, I'm fucking completely obsessed with it. And so we've watched it constantly. And then in 2 weeks, right? 3 weeks, maybe? I don't know. Math is not my strong suit. We're going to start a new season. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
I'll be Henry's first Bachelor.
Oh.
Nick. They announced all of the Bachelorettes. We are going to break them down in a preview special that we're probably going to do last episode of the year. Next episode, again, is going to be our
Season
1 review. But yeah, there's a lot of dolphin people in there, huh? There's a lot of folks in there.
A lot of people like dolphins.
I get it.
Oh, and did you see the most common names? They're not anything we were predicting.
There's 3 pairs, right? There's 2 Jasmines.
There's 2 Jasmines. Yeah.
Jasmine, what's up? Your brand is going worldwide.
I wonder if that's an Aladdin thing. If you think about the 90s.
Shit. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
A lot of people have also pointed out that the women are, in fact, typical age.
The average age is 24 and 3/4.
They are not.
It is not. Nick is 33, 34.
Something like that.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's a gulf.
Yeah.
That's a gap, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a chasm.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, I mean, obviously.
I was just looking forward to a more mature female contestant, and that is not what we saw.
That is not what we're going to get. Instead, we get a bunch of anamorph dolphin women who want to just stay in the transformation for over an hour.
Oh, that reminds me, we should bring up again, we've mentioned this a couple times, but for those that are new, we have a listener named Drew Davidson who created a website called The Rose Reckoner, which can help you keep track of your scoring. So if you're looking to start a team, he's got the new contestants up. I believe you can get in there and start putting together.
I think we might actually use it this year.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of first of all, Rachel takes a copious amount of notes each episode, and so it's hard to keep track of.
And there's always
score.
scoring discrepancies. When we do this with friends, a lot of people will count things, and then
we spend a lot of time arguing whether something was just a kiss or a makeout, which is fun. But we could spend our time.
Yeah, those arguments get really heated.
They get really fucking nasty. Yeah, sure.
Like what tips the scale from a kiss to a makeout? We've had a lot of debates about that.
Visible tongue, that's a makeout, obviously.
And duration, that's where it gets
Duration,
sticky.
hands on the head and neck.
Yeah.
It's important. These are actual arguments that we've had with our friends, our very good friends. I hope this episode didn't come out as braggy or super masturbatory. I don't know. I think folks probably will enjoy it.
I think, Griffin and I are obviously very happy, and we appreciate that a lot of you have been interested in our story.
Mm-hmm.
And it does definitely inform how we watch these shows, so
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's totally crazy that we talked about it.
I guess not. But yeah, thanks for listening. Next week, again, season 1 of The Bachelor. Please watch Terrace House.
A lot of you have. If anyone just joined our Facebook group,
I love it.
they probably think that we are exclusively a Terrace House
here's
cast.
The thing. There's nowhere for me to go to get the kind of I'm a member of the fucking Terrace House fan community. You know what I mean? I'm not the member of a fan community for much shit, but I want to know everything about this show. I want to watch all the old stuff. I want to look at Terrace House memes. I want to, you know what I mean? I'm trash for the show.
I want to know everything about the panel.
I want to know, not only that, I want to know what everybody else thinks. We've been telling our friends about the show just because I'm so desperate for people to talk to. Last night, Justin sent me a text about Hansan, and it, lit up my life. Travis is watching it now, and I'm, so psyched. I know what episodes he's, about to get to. It's
And I guess, so Aloha is coming to Netflix.
Jan 1 is what I've heard.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a lot to watch in a few weeks. It's very exciting.
I mean, what are we fucking kidding? Bachelor starts on Jan 3rd. If they put up all of the Aloha State episodes, we will finish them by then.
Yeah.
We will watch all of them in 2 days.
Thanks, you guys, for listening.
Thank you for listening. Go watch Bachelor Season 1. It's on abc.com. And we'll talk about it next week. Or don't watch it. What the fuck ever. You're probably pretty busy. It's the holidays. And it's a pretty stressful time for everybody. Should we do a holiday episode? I don't even know what we would do.
I don't know what we would do.
I don't know what that would look like. This is our holiday episode. Fuck off. Just kidding. We love you very much. Whoa. I'm feeling punchy.
Okay.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Griffin McElroy.
I'm Rachel McElroy.
When you're ready.
Final rose. Stay with us on this journey of joy.
Spoiler alert.
She ends up with Soldier Boy.
Right reasons, right reasons.